You know you need video for your business, but don't know where to start. You need some kind of strategy to get that whole thing going. You know you got to do it. Or perhaps you're a veteran who is transitioning from military to civilian life. My guest today knows about all of that stuff and more. Welcome, Rich Cardona. Hello, Rich.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you. Good to rejoin you. Love what you've done with the place. Things are
I love it. Yeah.
yeah. Sound good. Look good. I'm happy to be here, man.
Oh, Rich, I've been admiring you for a while, and I follow what you do. I see you on LinkedIn all the time. You have a successful business going and a wonderful family. By the way, I want to say one thing I love that you do is your Sunday thing. Sunday posting, all about the family, not so much business.
Yes. I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite day to post.
Favorite day of the week. I used to be this thing. Monday is my favorite day of the week, I used to say, but Sunday, it's like, family.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're a personal brander. Would you call yourself that, a branding and video strategist as well? Is that how you would term yourself?
That's exactly what I would say. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So how does it work? Somebody comes to you and say, I got a problem. I just need to do something different. Nobody knows who I am. What's going on? So you have a conversation with them. How does that begin?
It begins with stripping down all the inhibitions and the reluctance or the confusion that is preventing them from putting out content. You don't have that problem. I don't have that problem, but it becomes a lot easier once you know what you should be talking about and why you should be talking about that, but more importantly, who you can help. So I think what you and I have probably seen a lot is that a lot of people confuse just creating content versus creating meaningful content. And I don't mean it's necessarily meaningful just for your audience, but for you as well. Like there should be something tangible behind it that makes you interested in creating it. Right, and that usually is going to revolve around your expertise. But more importantly, if we're talking about personal branding, some of your own personal experience, because your DNA, Chris, cannot be replicated.
No,
mine can't be replicated either. At least not now, not yet. But our experiences are unique and individual to us, which means there's someone out there who has not experienced them and can probably benefit from what you have to say.
That is so true. That is so true. So that's the strategy, really. When you say you're a video, I love the title, video strategist is what you call yourself. So you're strategizing with the client, the customer, whoever, about what they need to do, the strategy to pull that stuff out of them, I guess. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of, I heard this phrase and I reused it. I forget who I stole it from. It's kind of combing the spaghetti out, of your brain. And we focus on what you're going to be able to deliver, the manner in which you deliver it, and the medium. So yes, I'm a video strategist at heart, but if you belong on a podcast, then and you feel more comfortable there, so to speak, then maybe that's what you should do. If you want to be on Clubhouse, maybe that's what you should do. If you want to write, then okay, but we could help you determine that medium as well. But we help you determine, actually, you know what? All that stuff matters, okay?
Yeah.
The most important thing to me, how I judge a successful engagement with a client, is if they show up exactly how they want to show up. Mm-hmm. You do this with your bow tie and your branding and, yeah, exactly. Like you get it, but that's not easy for most people. Everyone likes, as soon as the camera's on or the microphone's on or whatever, is all of a sudden like, whatever was just comfortable becomes stiff and strange and weird and awkward. And it's very tangible for the person on the other side to who's watching it. So that is success to me, is helping you show up exactly how you want to show up and as you are, and not kind of exaggerating it, not underselling it, just being exactly who you are.
It's a matter of overcoming the fear of doing video.
Yep.
Because a lot of people think, I'm going to look horrible. I'm going to look bad. I'm going to say the wrong thing. Yep. And it's something that helped me. Well, I did radio broadcasting for a long, long time. Yeah. And that helped me because you're only talking to one person at a time, at a time. Yeah. And same thing with video. You're on a video and you're only talking to like this here. We're talking to one person at a time.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, talking to your best friend, like in Home Improvement or something, over the back fence, or something, you're talking to your best friend.
Yep.
And you can talk freely. And that's helped me. I don't know if that's something.
No, it's here's the thing. Look, when you make something, it doesn't matter how many followers you have or anything like that, because guess what? Not everyone is going to see it. You are at the mercy of the social media platform,
Yeah.
which means, unfortunately and fortunately, that not a ton of people are going to see it. A fraction of your content is usually showed. A fraction of your audience actually gets to see your content on a regular basis, unless, you know what I mean? Unless you make a folder and like make sure you go to visit all these profiles every day or something like that. So that's the good news in that, is that you're not talking to the Staples Center in Los Angeles with a microphone at half court. That's not happening. So stop imagining that and just realize, like Chris said, it's just one person, one interaction. And if you can kind of reduce the fraction to that small, minuscule interaction, you will probably be more yourself than you think.
It works. It really, really works. Now, how long have you been doing this, Rich?
I am about to be in June, next June, so about 2 months will be 2 full years. And I would say the probably year before that, I was just testing things out. I was like, photography, maybe. Videography, maybe. Personal branding, yes.
There you go. You got the knack. We've been doing it about the same time officially, because March of 2019 is when I stopped selling cars. I was selling cars.
Yeah.
In Glens Falls, New York. And I woke up one day and said, this is enough. I sell 15. They want me to sell 30. I sell 30. They want me to sell 90.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an exaggeration, but
yeah.
But that's it. It's like an endless, thankless thing. And I was on somebody else's clock. So I woke up and said, hey, let's go do it myself. Yes. So yeah, it's about the same time frame. So that's awesome. Now I want to transition backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
You were in the Marine Corps, the U.S. Marine Corps, for 17 years.
Right.
So first thing I want to say is thank you for your service to this country, and my hat's off.
Thank you thank you for your support.
Sure, it's I can relate, because my father was Air Force 20 years. He retired at a place called Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and that's where I grew up.
Where's that?
Northern New York State.
Whoa.
Way up 60 miles south of Montreal, Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So way up. That's where I grew up, actually. I'm a little further south in Glens Falls, but it's 100 miles south. You're in what, North Carolina, I think.
Yes.
Right? Warm weather. That's why you got a T-shirt on.
Yeah. It's very nice outside. Yes.
It's supposed to be 65 up here today.
All right. Hey, that's good.
So you were in the Marine Corps for 17 years. So you're retired officially from the Marine.
I am. Yes.
So when you retired from the Marines, how did that transition work? Did you have any idea what you were going to do, or?
This is a really great question for multiple reasons. Number one, the military to civilian transition is very, very challenging, despite all the resources, despite all the people getting out all the time that can tell you what it's like. It doesn't matter. It's extremely difficult. The second is we all go through transitions in our lives all the time, whether it's a move, whether it's, an illness, whether it's overcoming an illness, whether it's a new job, it doesn't matter. Bringing children into the world, we all go through transitions. But here's what I could tell you. I thought I was incredibly, incredibly prepared for the outside. I was like, okay, like I'm in the middle of getting my MBA. I have 17 years. I flew attack helicopters. I also have 2 bachelor's degrees. I networked my face off. I thought I was using LinkedIn really, really well. And I would go to networking events, and I was like, this should be okay. And, Chris, it was awful. It was awful. I mean, I didn't get the amount of callbacks or email replies I did not get back from hiring managers or recruiters was just completely disproportionate to what I got back. Wow. And then second, and trust me, I had all the resume help. I had the coaches. I had all of it. The second thing is that, I the jobs I did get offers at were, I would say, not necessarily in line with my skill set, like for sales. I mean, you were in sales. I was in sales, and I was like, I'm not a sales guy. I used to fly. Like, what makes you think I'm going to be effective at this? So when it came to the transition, it was difficult. I would say I'm still transitioning now, but I'm an entrepreneur, so I couldn't be happier. But transitioning has its phases. And I think like anything else in life, you just uncover a lot of information during those transitions about yourself. And it ultimately, no matter what, you always end up improving.
So I know you do this, and watched some of your interviews with veterans, people that are transitioning from all branches of the military, I think too, right?
Yeah.
And you help them a lot. I mean, do you have any? How do you do that yourself? I mean, do you have a program where you do it? Do you get them on?
No. So there's like some big time veterans out there, flag waving, beards, dip, just all of it, or
Oh, the ones
larger
that
than
drive
life.
pickup trucks with flags on the back.
Yeah, exactly. And or then there's like those really well known ones, David Goggins, Jocko, all those guys. I'm not that guy. I think it's important, and this is actually a personal branding lesson. I think it's really, really important to realize that you don't have to be what you think everyone else is. Meaning, I don't have to support the VFW. I have nothing against them, of course. I'm just saying, like, I don't have to support them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go at these veteran functions in town if I don't feel like it. My method in which I like to support veterans is through making content that I believe is going to be relevant. And that content usually happens when I'm on a walk and something occurs to me. Yeah. Like, hey, why don't you take vacation when you go on terminal leave instead of starting to work when you're on terminal leave? Because you will never get that time again as an adult. Little things like that. So how does that tie into personal branding? Just to kind of make sure I tie it in, is you don't have to follow the crowd. As a matter of fact, like, you will probably find yourself much more gratified by the manner in which you show up to help, because it's a little bit original. There's nothing wrong with doing what everyone else is doing, of course, but I have found that I don't like to do it the way everyone else does it, and I'm completely okay with that.
Well, that's great. So you are basically following your own tune, beating your own drum, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I see that in your videos. Your videos are enthusiastic. You always get high engagement. And I want to talk a little bit about that engagement sort of thing. You're on all the social medias, I'm guessing. And are you a fan? I think you're a fan of Clubhouse, because I've seen you on there.
I'm out of love. I've fallen out of love with Clubhouse, Chris. And as a matter of fact, I deleted Twitter not long ago. And
tell us, well, Twitter, I might understand why about Twitter.
Yeah.
But, and because without getting into detail and getting into that sort of discussion, yeah, I think I know why. I think I know why.
Yeah.
But Clubhouse had an incident recently too, I think, where something similar, if we're talking about the same thing, I don't want to go.
No, I don't know. We'll have to, you can tell me now or offline, but
there was a political blow up on there recently.
Oh, was there? Okay. Yeah. Here's what I'll say about Clubhouse.
What was your take on it?
My take was this: it was exciting. It was real time. It was a way to interact with your audience right then and there. However, just like any other platform, there was a lot of kind of hacking going on, a lot of growth hacking, a lot of kind of clicks, I guess is the right word. I don't know. So
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Just tons of people moderating in rooms and just kind of what people call stage squatting, like literally just being a moderator but not saying anything. Like, who knows? They might have just been left their phone wherever and gone to do something else just to make sure people are following them and liking them. Now, let's say you are in a group like I was. It's called LinkedIn International, and I was showing up 2 hours a morning, 5 days a week, and it was great. It was great, but Chris, we got a lot of the same questions. We got a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were sharing a ton of information that we normally charge for. And at some point, I started to say to myself, this is not necessarily okay, because I have people who actually pay me for some of this information. So one of two things needs to happen. I need to do a better job of how I show up for people as individuals that I have on my roster as clients, or I need to kind of just leave breadcrumbs rather than a full bona fide audit of someone's LinkedIn profile during a Clubhouse session. And instead say, visit my YouTube channel that has a LinkedIn playlist called All Things LinkedIn, and you'll see demonstrations of how to do everything. But 2 hours a day, I mean, look, I enjoyed it, but I had a stark realization that that's not an income producing activity.
No, it's not.
So sorry, and then I just got kind of back to basics and started doing my thing on LinkedIn.
So you're not doing Clubhouse at this point anymore?
I do it once in a while. I'll jump into some podcasting rooms to help moderate, because I love podcasting.
Tell us, okay, I know you have a podcast. Tell us about the Leadership Locker and what that's about.
Oh, man. It's so my passion, and be careful for all you podcasters out there with a passion, because because that's what it is most of the time, meaning it's not a cash cow. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But the leadership locker, I originally designed for veteran entrepreneurs because 2% or 25% of veterans want to become entrepreneurs or start their own businesses, but only a couple percent, a negligible percentage do. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. And at the time I was 38 when I started it, or no, 39. And I was just like, I'm doing it. I'm starting a business, and I don't even have a business plan. So I'm going to figure this out. So that guy we all know pretty well, Gary Vee, is always saying document the journey. So I'm like, let me do this. Let me document the journey via a podcast, because I didn't think anyone would watch, long videos on YouTube about it. And then I was like, let me make sure I'm interviewing influencers and industry experts who are going to who have not served. So that way they're not going to BS me, right? They're going to tell me exactly what we need to hear and not water it down for a veteran, so to speak. Yeah. Well, all the knowledge they were giving me and that I was discovering seemed to apply to all business owners, not all business owners, but business owners. And we're talking sales, we're talking negotiating, we're talking about storytelling, we're talking about branding, we're talking about resilience, all these different things. Mm-hmm. And I've had fantastic guests, I have some really fantastic guests coming up as well. But sure. It's I love to be a conduit for information. And as you know, mm-hmm. you learn when you're conducting a podcast as well. Oh, sure. I learned so much. It's ridiculous.
All the time. Every time I have a guest on, it's like, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
That's me. And that's part of the passion of doing it too. I don't know if you know the name of the podcast you're on right now, but it's called The Bo Knows Who is Changing the World.
No, I didn't know that last part.
Well, then that's why you're on here, because you're one of those people that's changing the world.
My man, thank you.
How about that sound, huh? I know you met, speaking of Gary Vee, I had that in my notes to ask you about him. You met Gary, correct? You talked
multiple times, and I got him locked up for June for another interview.
You do?
I do. I will probably push people to Clubhouse and do it live there as well.
Well, ask him about NFTs then.
I am. I promise you, I'm going to study as much as I can before that one and be
I've already started Coinbase. I've started that myself.
Good for you.
Good for you. And I got some artwork of my own that I'm going to, tokenize on there. So
Love it.
So there we go. Be cool. I could go on for another couple hours with you, Rich, but
yeah,
I think I want to have you on again. Would you agree to come on again at some point?
Yeah, of course. No problem.
It'd be awesome. I appreciate what you've done today and your time. I know you were in the Marine Corps for 17 years. You did your basic training at Parris Island, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I was just talking about it yesterday.
You were?
Yeah. It's funny you say that.
That's funny. Well, I have a Parris Island story, and I'm going to give you some transparency here.
Yes.
I graduated from high school in 1977.
Okay.
78, I decided I was going to one-up my father, who was in the Air Force. Oh, by the way, I was born in Kittery, Maine, on a naval air base.
Oh, wow.
Portsmouth Naval.
Yeah. Wow.
You know where that is. Yeah. So it's my hometown up there. Anyway, Parris Island, I was, for one thing, I'm left-handed. So when I shoot those rifles, I get shells. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's like, no, do it right-handed, son. No, I can't. It doesn't work. I'm not. Anyway, I don't know. I had an honorable discharge from the Marines due to, they told me I was unsuited for military service, and that's a straight up truth. But one of the things that's what they told me. So I went on and just got into radio broadcasting and did all that later. But one of the things, I must have pissed off one of the drill instructors once, because he made me, and there were fire ants. You remember the fire ants?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I experienced the fire ants firsthand. Okay. So get down and give me 20 or 40, whatever he said. And I put my hands down, I'm doing the push-ups, and they're crawling up my arm.
Yes.
I stand up and I'm like this. What the hell's wrong with you, son? Sir, I'm in pain. Ah! Drill.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what.
So
that's a parasite.
I'm going to slightly one up that because you can't. They don't allow you to take them off. Like so discipline, right? So keep doing your push-ups, leave them there. So I'm sure, of course, they yelled and told you to get back down, and you did your thing, and you're probably getting eaten alive.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're called chiggers, like or sand fleas that are down there as well in Paris Island. And I'll never forget. We did a PT run and whatever. We came back, and we're in our physical training gear, which is these short, ridiculous shorts, and then this t-shirt, and we sit there Indian style, sweating our faces off, right where we knew there was a ton of sand fleas, and they're just like, don't move, and we're just like, are you kidding me? And we got eaten alive. And I remember on graduation day, my father's like, are your arms ever going to get better? Because I had like all these like kind of color discolorations and scars. And of course it got better, but I was just like, this is unbelievable. So I'm with you. I've experienced something similar. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that about you.
Wow. Well, I've never told it on camera, so this is like the first time. So, cool. Hey, we're gonna. I gotta wrap up. So I got 2 non-business questions to ask you.
Please.
What is your favorite movie?
Oof. I think Inglorious Bastards is just, I'm obsessed with it for whatever reason. I just love it. Everything about it.
Who's in that?
Brad Pitt. It's about it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Okay.
Brad Pitt and I guess I don't. Oh, what's his name? Christoph Waltz. It's just amazing movie about it's you'll have to look it up.
I will. If you had Marty McFly's DeLorean or a Doctor Who TARDIS, one of the two, you could go back in time and have coffee and a conversation with anybody, anywhere, famous or non-famous, relative, whatever. Who would you choose? Time machine.
Back in time?
Anybody.
That's a really good question. I cannot give you a person, but here's what I can tell you.
Okay.
I would go back to me, and when I was thinking about getting my MBA from a private institution, and say, or wish I'd known someone who's like, you don't need it. Oh. You don't need it. You don't need it for what you're going to do. You don't know it yet, but you are not going to be a cog in the system.
Do you think you would listen to yourself?
Maybe. I was convinced, Chris, I was convinced that I needed a degree to be a marketable human being.
That's what and
now I look, and I'm not saying the degree is worthless, but excuse me, being an entrepreneur, you learn so much so fast.
Yes, you do.
It's unbelievable. And I would think to myself, if I did this in 2015 instead of 2018 or 2019, like what would it have been like?
Yeah, I do that a lot myself. I think about it because I did mine in 2019, honestly.
Yeah, there you go.
And if I'd done it in 2010,
exactly,
what would it be like now? But you got to move forward instead of looking back. The time machine thing always fascinates me. A lot of people talk about their parents, grandparents.
Yeah.
Somebody said Jesus once.
Wow.
I asked this question to everybody. Rich, it's been a wonderful time talking with you. The time's gone by too fast, and we're going to have you on again. So I appreciate it. And once again, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And live long and prosperous, Mr.
All right. Take care, brother. Bye.
Thanks, Rich.